Hey y'all, it's Amanda and this is my Texas Zone 8 garden, and before we dive in, be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share this with a fellow gardening friend. Alright, continuing in the backyard, literally just finished the bed over here. This direction faces south, so we've got sun coming from the east right now. It's kind of getting up because it's getting closer to noon. And I've got a massive problem going on over here. Let me bring y'all in closer and show you, this is my Don Juan rose and we've got some issues. So let me show you. I do love this approach, walking through the arch. All right, here's our issue. So we have a random Luffa vine, see this guy right here? That has wound itself in and pulled the Don Juan rose down. So I got to start by cleaning some of this up, finding the source of this vine, pulling that up, and then because so many of the Don Juan canes have gotten bent, I think I need to cut several of them back. So it's going to be a lot of debris. It's going to be a lot of pruning, which is my favorite, I'm not going to lie. But let's go ahead and start messing with it and get started. Okay. This video might get split into 2 days. We'll see. So these big leaves right here, this is the Luffa vine. And there's a loofah right there. We don't want that. So I'm basically just going to start making a pile. I'm going to pull on this. I'm going to have to cut some things out. Like this is a Don Juan cane, Don Juan rose cane. And I'm probably going to have to cut out some of this basil that's gotten so tall, just so I can see other things that are happening in here. This basil still has time to flush back too. Okay, get back a little further now. Okay, I'm going to reach back in and I'm going to cut back some of these canes pretty far, just so we can really start to focus. And this is what's happening. They're getting pulled down by all these loofahs. Look at this. Crazy. So I'm going to pull gently. I don't want to pull too hard because I don't want to break stuff. Oh my gosh, I bet this, I feel like sometimes plants have emotions. I bet this Don Rose is pissed at me that I let it get this far out of control. All right. Well, did I solve that problem already? I don't see a lot left. I do feel like I need to get back in here on some of these canes back here. Cut some of these out. This is kind of a brutal pruning because there's no like which way about what I'm doing. I'm really just trying to give it some reprieve and allow it the opportunity to bounce back. It does have a Jackmani clematis growing up through it. I might pull some of the Jackmani clematis out just to give it a little moment and then get it cut back some. Because I don't ever want the Jackmani clematis to take over. I want it to accent. So part of the things I will have to do is I'll have to do this every once in a while and just pull some of it off. I literally just told myself, it's okay, it's okay. Okay. All right, we've got a lot of crazy basil. I'm gonna take down some as well, so I can get back in here and see what's happening. There we go. All right, y'all, making progress. Look at me, look at me. Got a beautiful fireworks solidago here. Skinny back a little bit further. I've got a Chicago peace rose. Doing a little bit of pruning on. There's a massive cane right here I want to grab. We definitely have some spider mites going on back here, and I suspect that is from the Luffa vines creating a lot of shade for back here. Trying to work my way back into here. There, what do we got? This probably should have been dealt with sometime in the summer. Like I said, I was struggling this summer. Didn't get done as much as I usually do. So I am giving this a pretty intense pruning on the Don Juan. That's okay. Okay. Okay, that feels better. Ton better. I'm just looking back here to see what's going on. So this is the fireworks solidago. It's beautiful, and it will be covered in pollinators as soon as I come back. This is an alternanthera that is growing from a pot behind it, and I like that purple mixed in. And then we've got some Swedish ivy in a basket over here. That is lovely. Okay, let me move this pile of debris. Feels a million times better. It's amazing how much the fruit of that loofah was pulling everything down. All right, so coming in here, I'm going to continue to make a few cuts in some places. Specifically, I want to get back here to this coleus. This is concoleus. And I'm going to cut back its branches a little bit and force it to bush out a little bit more. It's going to look a little not as good right now, but it'll be better for the plant to last longer if I do this. Ooh. Okay, now that I've opened this up a little bit, let me bring you back in and show you some of the stuff that's going on in here, because it's kind of exciting. Okay. So the Don Juan rose can definitely breathe. And I pulled the clematis from like the top half of the Don Juan rose, which I think was a good call. Still tons of not Don Juan, Jackmani clematis. Still tons of Jackmani clematis. Now a lot of that is browned down there because it was covered up, like it didn't have access to any sun. And then of course here's the solidago, but you can also see some perennial mums, heirloom chrysanthemums, coming up and getting ready to bloom, which is very exciting. It's alternanthera, this beautiful plummy purple color. Super pretty. And a hanging basket with the Swedish ivy. And I did cut a lot of the bigger canes back of the Don Juan rose, but that's okay. And down here is a Chicago peace rose, but it also has some concoleus worked in. And then we actually revealed some chrysanthemums back there as well. Now we have some gorgeous, this is Siam Queen basil, which is lovely and ripe for harvest. It kind of creates these little like purple florets, which is nice. Now I have some older black-eyed Susan, needs to be cleaned up, and I think we need to cut back a little of this basil. So I think we'll continue on with that. But I think I'm going to stop for today because I am so hungry. So I think we'll continue the rest of this tomorrow. In the meantime, see all the pollinators? They are happy. Okay, so it's the next day and I'm super annoyed because my microphone, I guess, didn't work or I didn't turn it on. I don't know what ended up happening. But the first thing I'm doing is I'm really just coming in and I'm cutting out a couple of these bushes of basil. They're just a little intense and they're taking over the pathway. So I really just wanted to knock some of these off. Now I'm really hoping that a lot of this basil will reseed itself over time for next year. That would be lovely. I would love if this entire space was all basil. That would be absolutely fabulous. Now I have this black-eyed Susan over here, and it is obviously done blooming when you can see it from this view. However, I would usually cut it back, but I kind of like it. I think I'm going to leave it. I'm wondering if those seed heads might be helpful for wildlife. And then also I think it might look really good during the winter to have that up, which could be cool. Now I am removing a few sunflowers. These are evening sun sunflowers. And I'm going to trim off the heads of these sunflowers and I'm going to go ahead and put the seeds back into the garden once I've cleared it out. It's just a really great way to basically get free plants again, which would be amazing. Now we're on the edge of this garden, and this portion of the garden, a couple of years ago, I planted a ton of Casablanca lilies and liatris. And before I really got a good bloom cycle on them, I had to have some drainage work done, and the guys who worked on it dug up this whole area. So I was super disappointed because I knew it was going to be wrecked. And so I waited to see how everything with this spring to see how many actually came back, and just a handful came back. So I definitely think I'm going to replant this area next spring with more Casablanca lilies and more liatris. So you can see that I was cutting back the Casablanca lilies and now I'm cutting back the liatris. And then as I'm looking closer into this, I'm realizing that there's a lot of weeds and a lot of grass, and I think I'm going to have to deal with that. Okay, this that I'm pulling right here is Queen Anne's lace, or Dara, and several of them have come back for the fall, but I don't really want them trying to produce anything, so I'm going to pull those out. There's plenty of those seeds left in here for next spring. Okay, at this point, I just decided, you know what? I'm just going to cut everything down to the ground. So I'm starting to cut down all the liatris. I just wanted to cut it all down so I could really get in there and look and see what it was, because I have a lot of St. Augustine grass that is trying to grow through the space. And St. Augustine is very easy to pull up. It doesn't bother me at all. You can see me pulling this one right here. Look at that. Crazy, right? It's pretty easy. Its roots don't go super deep. Now, Bermuda, on the other hand, that one's a bear. And there was a little bit of Bermuda in this garden, so I dug some of that up. But I really just wanted to cut everything back so I could see what was happening within this garden. Now this section over here is mostly grass, mostly St. Augustine grass and liatris. And I'm not gonna lie, it was super fun to pull up the long trailing tendrils of the St. Augustine. I actually really enjoyed it. So since I've been working on these beds in the backyard, I've been creating basically a massive pile of all my cuttings and debris. And then once I'm done cleaning everything out, I will get my husband and my boys to clean that all up and get rid of it for me. This area looks way better and really allows me to see what's going on in there. I left the zinnia in there, and I do have a phlox in there, but seeing it all cleaned up made me feel a lot better, just so it helps me plan for the future. Now, this whole expanse right here is all of the basil, and I really hope that the basil just reseeds itself and just comes back like crazy. Don't mind me just pulling Bermuda grass, which is everywhere all the time. But if this basil reseeds for me next year, that would be glorious. Now, if it doesn't, I will definitely go ahead and grow some myself. Now that right there is cardinal basil, and is a larger version of this Queen Siam basil. They're both beautiful and create these florets, which are lovely, and they look great in arrangements. They definitely have more of a licorice taste than standard basil, but yeah, I'm really pleased with how this area turned out. I think it looks really nice. It didn't take nearly as long as I thought it would, but I'm happy I got it done. Okay, so I'm going to grab some of the dried sunflower heads and break it apart and start kind of scattering all of the seeds that it has into this back garden. I'm really thinking next year I want to have a lot of things that reseed themselves. So I'll have to make sure I understand when the seedlings are coming up, trying to recognize what they are so I know how to thin them out because, of course, I'm dumping hundreds of sunflower seeds in here. Well, I don't want hundreds of sunflower seeds throughout the space. So I'll definitely have to plan for that for the future. But I am happy with how the space turned out, being able to reveal some different things. I've really been working hard to just break down projects and just do a single small project at a time. It feels manageable. I feel successful at the end of the day, because I've accomplished this area. Pruning is my favorite. It's always going to make me feel good. So coming in here and doing a big pruning like this is really fun. And I still have a good 4 to 6 weeks of gardening grow time. So it's going to be really fun to just continue to watch these spaces fill in. And now that I've got the 3 planters plus this one long garden bed, feeling really good. So I think I'll start shifting the other way across the back of the backyard. Now, a lot of the rest of the backyard has a ton of flowers that are still being utilized by the pollinators, and we are going to leave as much of that as possible. But there still are a few areas that can be cleaned up and prepared for the future. And I do have a few plants and a few other things to get planted. I've got some bulbs to get planted in a couple of different places. So there's definitely still some little projects, but once again, just working a little bit at a time. All right, you all, as always, make sure you like and comment on the video. Every time you like and comment, it helps grow my video so much. And if you don't feel comfortable leaving a comment, just drop me an emoji below, letting me know that you made it to the end of the video and you say hi. Check out that butterfly. And check me out in my Patreon community. The link is in the video description below. Kind of excited. I'm filming this on Thursday, and tonight we have a live where we're all going to be going through our seed sorting together. So I'm really excited about that. Patreon is just a really great opportunity to have a smaller group of people who like the same things you do. And so it's just a great group of people who like to talk about gardening. And starting November 1st, I will have a free tier and I will have one other paid tier, just one paid tier. So it's either the free tier or the other paid tier. And with the paid tier, you'll get access to lives, exclusive videos, as well as group chats and photo sharing. But it really is something that I look forward to every week, especially the lives, getting to chat with people on a more personal basis. As always, she's a mad gardener or a decorator or anything else that she wants to be. Thanks, y'all.